comrades. We'll come to that, comrades. But let's do this quickly. And thank you very much to all of you, comrades, from wherever you come from all organizations. This is not an ideal venue for us to have meeting for long speeches, because we don't want to inconvenience you all. But because we are forced, number one, as ANC and our allies, number two, as South Africans, to come and compress ourselves here in welcoming this sign of the soil. We are saying, Comrade Ebrahim, we are not diplomats. We will not even attempt to speak in diplomatic terms.
No way.
We only want to speak as South Africans and as the African National Congress and say, welcome home, son of the soil. Long live Ebrahim Rasool, long live! Long live Ebrahim Rasool, long live! But comrades, we want to guarantee you this. Whatever we're not saying in the glare of cameras, we're saying in our hearts, Manta!
And then we give to Kosatu and then the party just 2 minutes each. 1 minute.
Oh my guy, I also got a job.
Comrades, today we are here, Kosatu, to welcome Ebrahim Rasool back to Cape Town, back to this country. He is one of us and he will remain one of us. That's why we are here today to say, Ebrahim, welcome home. You are not alone. We are with you in this fight, and the Kosatu will not keep quiet. We are unhappy with what happened with the expulsion, but we are saying today, Kosatu is 150% behind you. Amanda!
And then now to the Communist Party and then Comrade Ebrahim to greet you.
Amandla! Kawethu! Ansinga imperialism panse! Ansinga imperialism panse! Ansinga right-wing populist panse! Pambili nge-solidarity pambili! Long live Rasool, long live! Long live ANC, long live! Long live Kosatu, long live! Long live SACP, long live! Thank you very much, comrades. Without wasting time, thanks, Comrade Rasool, for representing this country well in the United States. Thank you very much, Comrade Rasool, for reasserting our national sovereignty. Thank you very much, Comrade Rasool, for refusing to submit to the dictates of the right-wing populist Western imperialists. As the SACP, we reject the expulsion of Rasool. We must not be told by imperialists as to who must represent us anywhere in the world. In 2023, a U.S. ambassador in South Africa made damning allegation accusing us of supplying Russia with weapons. What did we do with that ambassador? Today, they want us to discard Rasool. Rasool, you are not going to be discarded. We are here to defend you because you defended our revolution. You articulated our position in the U.S., grounded in the theory of our revolution. Well done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Amandla. Good morning. Molweni. Assalamu alaikum. Goeiemorgen. Rashida and I have just traveled about 32 hours from the United States via Doha to Cape Town. It was not our choice to come home, but we come home with no regrets. I want to say that we would have liked to come back with a welcome like this if we could report to you that we had
turned away the lies of a white genocide in South Africa, but we did not succeed in America with that. We would have preferred to come here to say that we have won for you a goer, but we could not win it by withdrawing our case from the International Court of Justice against Israel, because as we stand here, the bombing has continued and the shooting has continued, and if South Africa was not in the ICJ, Israel would not be exposed and the Palestinians would have no hope.
Yes.
We would have preferred to come here and say that we have won for you trade deals and that we have been able to secure for us trade deals, but we could not do so by allowing the US to choose who must be our friends and who must be our enemies. So we don't come here to say that we are anti-American or that we have no need for America or that we don't have ties with America. We come here even after being declared persona non grata.
Yes.
We still come here and say we must rebuild and we must reset the relationship with America, because our relationship with America over 50 years has not always been with the White House. It has sometimes been with Congress, and it has always been with the people of the United States of America. When the White House and Congress declared us as terrorists, it was the dock workers in San Francisco that refused to touch South African goods. When Congress did not want to have sanctions, it was the American people who did not eat our fruit and did not touch our goods. And so we have this relationship that we must reset and we must rebuild. And we must hope that President Cyril Ramaphosa will be able to pick up where we left off. But we cannot have a simplistic idea that while we say there must be an ambassador, that you must put a white ambassador for a white president in the United States. And so, many people have said, what is diplomacy? We tried the conventional diplomacy and tried to avoid discussions about the genocide. We tried the conventional diplomacy and said that we must pretend that there is no merit in the idea, or that there's merit in the idea of land confiscations. We could not ignore that. And so we had to go to what is the diplomacy of Ubuntu, the diplomacy of mutual interdependence, that yes. I am because you are. Yeah. The diplomacy of Ubuntu is not the art of lying for your country.
That's true.
It is the art of speaking the truth, but gently. The diplomacy of Ubuntu is not flattering your host, and the diplomacy of Ubuntu is not denying what is wrong. The diplomacy of Ubuntu is intellectual engagement, and it is persuasion of your host about a better way. The diplomacy of Ubuntu is not sacrificing your values, but it is about universalizing your values. The diplomacy of Ubuntu is not about forfeiting your interests and not having interests with another country, but it is about pursuing your interest but keeping your dignity. That's what the diplomacy of Ubuntu is about, and that's what I thought was the way forward in this very difficult and challenging situation of our relationship with the United States. We have tried to engage. We have been met with executive orders that cut our aid, cut PEPFAR, and now we sit with the idea that millions could be reinfected with HIV and AIDS. The research for the vaccine may not be one that could be completed. Those are the dangerous things that are happening, and why we must mend our relationship or sit out the next 4 years. This is what we have been trying to do. And we must wish that President Cyril Ramaphosa must be able to find someone who can mend that relationship without sacrificing our values. That we can't be in a situation where the Palestinians are lost in this world without someone that they can depend on, like they have depended on South Africa. We were in the airport in Doha, Rashida and I, and someone came up to us, saw the badge I was wearing, knew immediately that I was the ambassador who was declared a persona non grata, and she said, "Thank you very much." And I said, "I'm not sure about how we are going home." And she said, "There's only one way to go home, and that is with dignity. Because if you don't stand up, who will stand up?" And she was Lebanese. She said, "A bully never needs a good reason to act against you. A bully will even do it because your hair is too short." And so I want to say that South Africa is not a military superpower. South Africa is not an economic superpower. But South Africa has the ability again to become a moral superpower, to stand up against chauvinism, to stand up against populism, and to say that what our people died for in Sharpeville on the 21st of March, that's what we stand for. Foremost amongst that is justice. Foremost amongst that is inclusion. Foremost amongst that is truth. We can modulate our truth. We can have a megaphone that is loud, or we can have a megaphone that is soft, but we will never stop speaking the truth. And so we are not here to call on you to throw away our interests with the United States, because our workers depend on AGOA and our workers depend on those investments. But we will do so with full dignity, with our sovereignty intact, and with our pride in what people have died for, from one massacre to another in this country. We cannot sacrifice that. We cannot sacrifice the Palestinians. We will not give up on BRICS. We will not give up on our relationship with China. But we will also not give up with our relationship with the United States. We must fight for it, but we must keep our dignity. Comrades, thank you very much for welcoming us like this. You know, a declaration of persona non grata is meant to humiliate you. But when you return to a crowd like this, and with warmth and a sense of Ubuntu like this, then I will wear my persona non grata as a badge of dignity, a badge of our values, and a badge that we have done the right thing. Thank you very much. Amandla. Amandla.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
But he is generous enough to say he can give at least 3 questions. Can we please accept this proposition? If I'm to the one to
Chair.
I'm the chair, by the way. Okay, Masego will be 1. Don't rush. Okay, Masego will be 1. Chair's number 2. Koge number 3. I don't know your names.
Ambassador Rasool, Samkela Masego from the SABC. Have you compiled that particular report to President Ramaphosa? Will you be giving him that report when you go to Pretoria tomorrow? And then lastly, Mr. Ambassador, what are the true reflections of what is happening in the United States of America, particularly with the Republicans at this point in time? They are being booed, a number of their senators.
No, I'm going to forget. Let me just do that very quickly. The question is, am I ready with my report for the President? And secondly, what is the true reflection of what is happening in the United States? The first thing is that We have started to write that report last week. We will finalize it and we will be ready for the President with that report. On the second question, it is too soon. Sometimes you must get some distance between a moment designed to humiliate you and the anger that could come from it, and then expressing yourself. Give me a week or two of a vow of silence on that until I can finally make a distance between my former role in Washington and my new role as a private citizen.
Mr. Rasool, Junior Kumalo from Newsroom Africa. We were told that you were trying to basically get an audience for South Africa with the US administration under Mr. Trump, but it seemed like there were challenges. Can you speak to us about that? Because we saw some organizations like your AfriForum, your Solidarity, going there and easily getting access to that administration.
The question is about whether we sought audiences with the administration and whether we did not get that, whereas AfriForum and others got it. I want to say that we were in Washington when not many positions were filled. There is no section for Africa in State Department, and they're only beginning to put it in place in the White House. But part of the design of the PNG, or the persona non grata, was to make sure that the access we got would not be used because there is a different agenda that wants to prioritize white suffering over black needs in South Africa.
Thank you very much for your time, Ambassador Usipa Mandla from ENCA. In hindsight, do you stand by your remarks? But also, number two, diplomacy clearly has failed, or the Trump administration doesn't want to engage with South Africa. Do you think genuinely there is hope to revive these relations that are at an all-time low? Number three, will you be playing your role in political affairs in the Western Cape now?
The first question was?
The first question was, do you stand by your remarks?
Do I stand by my remarks? My remarks was on the Mistra Mapungubwe Forum, speaking to South African intelligentsia, intellectuals, political leaders and others, to alert them to a changed condition in the United States, that the old way of doing business with the US was not going to work, and that unless we change our way of speaking to the US and recognizing what is the US, it is not the US of Obama, it is not the US of Clinton, it is a different US, and therefore our language must change, not only to transactionality, but also a language that can penetrate a group that has clearly identified a fringe white community in South Africa as their constituency, surrounded by a white diaspora in the White House. That is what we are up against. And so there's nothing that I will say there that I would not say elsewhere. And so I would stand by my analysis, because we were analyzing a political phenomenon, not a personality, not a nation, and not even a government. And so I stand by that. The second thing is, has diplomacy failed? In a very strange way. The fact that what I said caught the attention of the President and the Secretary of State and moved them enough to declare me persona non grata says that the message went to the highest office in the United States of America, that they were stung by our characterization and they were not happy with it. And so the diplomacy of Ubuntu has certainly worked, because we bore witness to the values of our society. And the third question was, will I play a role? Again, it is too early to make decisions of that nature. You must first recover from your previous job before you look for another job. We will think about it, we will pray on it, and we will consult on it, and then we will decide what to do next. Thank you very much.